I remind you that a particular theology is not the means by which the state is run. I remind
Well,
you
can I just ask you a question about that? But earlier in your testimony, you made, you were happy that you were joined by religious faith leaders.
Yes, but they are not trying to run the state. They are not. They were speaking in support of women's reproductive rights, not any particular law.
Okay, so just so I understand, some religion good, some religion bad.
No.
Oh.
No, sir, you are misunderstanding me completely. What I am saying is, and I was at the February 6th meeting, I don't know if you were.
I'm just trying to understand. That's
Yeah, well, I'm trying to
why
explain.
some is good and some is bad.
No.
Some religious viewpoints are good and some religious viewpoints are bad.
Absolutely not, sir.
Okay,
You're
I'm
putting
just trying to
words in my
understand.
mouth. You're putting words in my
No,
mouth.
I'm not. No, I'm just trying to understand the distinction.
They emphasized there was support by a diverse section of organizations, including representatives of faith-oriented groups. They were not dictating. They supported the bill. Whereas there are entities in the state, it's not about supporting this bill, it's about banning abortion. They will be the first ones to tell you, and throughout testimony of some of my respected opponents, they weren't referring to the bill, they were referring to cutting off abortion. That's not the point of the bill that's before you today.
I guess my point is simply that you can have, and we've seen it here today, people of various faiths have various opinions on this issue. So if we're going to say that this is the Statehouse and a religious position shouldn't be put forth, doesn't that apply to both sides?
Absolutely, but does it mean support for the bill or coming here and saying not only do they oppose the bill, they want to see no abortions allowed? In other words, they don't want to even have Rhode Islanders covered by the federal law, Roe v. Wade.
Okay.
An individual can be anti-abortion without any theological underpinning.
True.
You agree with that?
I do. I also...
Does not have to be a theological basis to be anti-abortion.
No, sir. Not at all. However, if you notice, the great majority, if not everybody who is here who spoke out against this bill, was a member of Right to Life, which is a Rhode Island Right to Life, which is a Catholic-based organization, and a good number of them referenced into their remarks what God would want, what God would want, what God would want. Their God, for them, is fine. I totally respect their personal beliefs. I would like them to do the same for people either whose God does not speak to them the same way, or those of us who are not of any particular faith.
And I can understand and respect that. But just keep in mind that there are many, many individuals out there who feel that abortion is heinous, not based on any religious underpinning.
That is true, and apparently 37% of them are in Rhode Island rather than the 63% who disagree with that.
And just a point of clarification, it's my understanding that Right to Life is not a religious, is not a Catholic organization, it is non-sectarian.
It is possibly written that way, but I can remember at various demonstrations at Planned Parenthood, there were prayers that were Catholic prayers being said by the demonstrators in public on the street.
And on both sides of this issue, there are allies from different organizations.
Absolutely, there are Catholics for choice as well.
So there are secular allies and there are religious allies on both sides of the issue. So because someone is saying prayers does not necessarily make them faith-based. That means that there are allies faith-based.
I can agree to that interpretation.